President Obama, I think I've discovered your biggest threat. Not Mitt. Ron.
What's success for you in this campaign?
What's success? Well, to win is the goal.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
I think a guy is going to set fire to the American flag. Can you imagine that?
So you're suggesting that I'm not electable and the Republicans don't want me? Where have we gone? I think we've lost our way. If you measured everything I've ever said, every vote I've ever taken against the Constitution, you know, I'm a strict constitutionalist. I'm the most conservative member here. I have voted, you know, against more spending and waste in government than anybody else because I'm a strict fiscal conservative, because I believe in civil liberties. And why should we not be talking about foreign policy that used to be the part of the Republican Party? Let me see if I get this right. We need to borrow $10 billion from China, and then we give it to Musharraf, who's a military dictator who overthrew an elected government, and then we go to war. We lose all these lives promoting democracy in Iraq. I mean, what's going on here? And you're saying that this isn't appealing to Republicans? Where did this come about? I think this is a Republican message. I defend the platform.
Ultimately, though, yes, we can beat anybody, you know, militarily.
There's nothing wrong with spreading our values around the world. But it is wrong to spread it by force, spread it by force, spread it by force, spread it by force.
You mean like Democrats?
And the passion of your supporters is kind of like nobody else's supporters.
The GOP had better not marginalize Ron Paul and his supporters, so the GOP had better listen to what these Ron Paul supporters are saying. Better work with them.
You know, when I was in the service, I served overseas, and Dr. Paul understands what a lot of people don't. There's a big distinction between military spending and defense spending, and he's someone who understands that.
But, you know, Iraq was not a threat. They didn't have weapons of mass destruction. There was no al-Qaeda. I think the same thing is going on here. There is no evidence whatsoever that the Iranians have or are on the verge of getting a nuclear weapon. According to our own military people, our own CIA, according to the UN, the last thing this country needs, and our military agrees, is another war.
Our responsibility is to spread democracy here.
That's not going to happen.
Weren't these the same experts who were the ones saying Jimmy Carter's own upstart 1976 win in Iowa was a fluke? But it wasn't. Well, Ronald Reagan could never, ever, ever be elected president. John Anderson in 1980. George Wallace in 1968.
That's not going to happen.
Teddy Roosevelt in 1912.
Andrew John Little ready to go. Here's the pitch to work. There's a wall.
That's not
Deep center field. Way back to the wall. It's an incredible catch. Tons and fires it in. What a catch by Willie Mays.
That's not going to happen.
Ron Paul has just locked up at least half of Iowa's delegates. Half the delegates are his. So Ron Paul either wins Iowa, or worst case scenario, he ties for first place.
I am not the Goldman Sachs candidate. And I am not the candidate for the military industrial complex.
Can he get the Republican nomination?
Oh, yes, I think he can. Romney will be in it. Ron Paul will be in it. You're going to have one conservative. Gingrich and Santorum are probably battling for that third spot. One of them, and that they probably will drop away. I would predict you could have all the way to the convention floor Ron Paul versus Mitt, and Ron Paul could very well win.
You're on our list. I'm on the list. Not my list. Those supporters, they put you down on
They're very angry.
and we only have 10 million.
Perhaps the most off-script thing that has just happened on the Republican side is that I think Ron Paul just won Iowa. And while we're on the subject, looks like Ron Paul just won Minnesota, too.
Oh, my! What an amazing play.